Have y'all ever noticed that certain artists are associated with being bad? Like every time their names come up, the most you hear people say is that they're a terrible artist. I've always wondered if these artists are truly terrible, or is it just a popular thing to say? Well, right about now, I'm about to find out if one of these rappers are bad, as their name is always associated with such. Saweetie is an artist that I always see being labeled as a bad rapper. Every time this girl posts new music, all I see are comments of people saying that she needs to stop rapping. Does she actually need to stop rapping? Or do people gotta stop sipping haterade as she actually has mad skills? Or am I mad for thinking this? Let's find out as I listen to all her projects, which are nothing but EPs for some reason. Her first project, High Maintenance, was definitely an experience. She most certainly wasn't a seasoned artist, as her overall style isn't refined. She lacked confidence in her flow, which greatly affected her bad bitch persona. When she recites her lyrics on this project, I ask myself, does this girl actually believe she's a bad bitch, or is she just putting on a front? This is most certainly noticeable on the track BAN, which consists of her awkwardly rapping about being a boss bitch.
You thought you was slick, but you slipping, yeah. Almost had me thinking you was different, yeah.
Now I do like the fact that the concept of this track is that of a confident woman, but Saweetie doesn't sound confident at all. This is very prevalent on this project with the exception of one song. The title track High Maintenance is an absolute banger, as Saweetie provides an aggressive flow that greatly showcases her confidence. Now the downfall of this track is that it's only 50 seconds. Wait, now that I think about it, this probably isn't a bad thing at all. Nevertheless, she still bodied this track, and she also pays homage to her Bay Area roots as she raps over the classic instrumental from Too Short called Shake That Monkey.
I'm a 5-star chick doing 5-star tricks, giving gifts all the time. I love these 5-star women with big.
Saweetie rapping over popular instrumentals will become a staple from her, and these are the songs from her I usually don't care for. Speaking of this, one of her most popular songs appears on this project, which is the track Icy Girl. She raps over the popular instrumental My Neck, My Back from the artist Kaya, and sadly, I prefer the original song, as the way Saweetie recites her lyrics is very amateurish, which turns me off. She literally sounds like she's struggling to read her lyrics off of a piece of paper.
You beefing with my enemy, does not make you a friend of me. Girl, so weird, stay clear, I'm living drama free, never living comfortably.
But surprisingly, there's another gem on this project, which is the last song, Too Many. Saweetie really put her foot up this track's ass. Her vocals are creative, as she experiments with autotune, and it sounds great overall. Another element of her style on this track is that she recites her lyrics with passion, which is due to the concept of this track. She talks about the many things that go on in her life. These things pertain her struggles and her successes. Saweetie's performance is so good on this track, she almost sounds like a different person.
I swear my dreams keep me up at night. Cardi's on my vision, can't lie.
After I heard this song, it showed me that Saweetie can really make good music if she wanted to. Maybe her style just wasn't fully refined on this project and she got better with later EPs. We're definitely gonna find out if she did, but for now, let me show you the grade I gave this project. Yes, this was most certainly an F, as it mainly consisted of Saweetie providing an unamusing style that wasn't fully refined. Her second EP, Icy, was a major improvement as she stepped up her rapping and provided a more confident style. This also made her bad bitch persona more believable. But although Saweetie improved a lot on this project, there are still some shaky performances. A perfect example of this is her performance on the song Tiptoes. Now I have no issue with Saweetie being happy that she was on the track with her then boyfriend at the time, but her excitement greatly affected her performance, as she sounds extremely cringy, as it's very noticeable.
This nigga brought me Gucci and Prada.
This EP also holds one of her well-known tracks, which is her rendition of P.D. Pablo's Freakily called My Type. The only thing I enjoyed about this track is the chorus, as it's very catchy. Saweetie's performance on her verses, on the other hand, are very annoying, as she yells her lyrics like a ratchet female arguing with her baby's father.
Bust down wrist, not a bust down bitch. Said I want your man, no the fuck I don't fit. Be a rich nigga, why you...
I've come to realize that I'm not a fan of the overly hyped rap flows, which is why I didn't like a big chunk of Drake's most critically acclaimed mixtape If You're Reading This Is Too Late. In order for a yelling rap flow to work for me, the artist has to really make it sound appealing to my ears, which Saweetie didn't do on this track. But enough about the cons on this project, as Saweetie most certainly provided some intriguing performances. A major highlight for me is the track Hot Boy. Her melodic vocals are infectious on the chorus, and her rap verses are great as well. I also like the concept, as Saweetie states that she needs a hot boy because she's a cold bitch.
Hot boy. Doing signs at the top, got the drop on the block, boy.
This This song is another example of Saweetie showcasing her potential to the highest degree. The song's Trick and One of One showcase Saweetie's new improved style, which consists of great flows and a newfound confidence in her delivery.
I be making hits while my ex be in the mix. Baby got a dirty dick. When he see me, he be sick.
All in all, I give this project a C, as it's a major improvement from her EP High Maintenance. She also showcased a ton of potential. She continued to improve on her third EP, Pretty Summer Playlist Season 1, as she presents a new aggressive style with multiple flows. The concept of this EP is Saweetie collabing with various artists. Some of her best performances consist of her outshining these guests, as they couldn't match her energy. Examples of this are the tracks Risky featuring Draco the Ruler and Talking About with the artist Louis. There are also 2 solo tracks from Saweetie on this EP that consist of her absolutely killing them. Pretty and Rich involves Saweetie switching up her flow multiple times, and it's surprisingly good. I actually haven't heard her rap like this up to this point, which proves that she has the ability to provide multiple flows and styles.
Pretty and rich, but I'll still type a bitch. Some of y'all favorites just making my list. I don't bother nobody, y'all mama on biz. Y'all hate it.
The other track, Sweat Check, has an upbeat dance feel to it, and Saweetie flows over the instrumental exceptionally well. I was very impressed by Saweetie's style on this EP, which holds more performances of her greatly assisting the featured artist. I gave this project a B+, as it was very enjoyable, and Saweetie greatly improved. I just knew that our next project was going to be one of her best, as she kept getting better. Oh boy was I wrong, cause her 4th EP is by far one of the worst projects I've ever heard from a mainstream artist. Everything she did on her previous projects up to this point are just thrown out the window, as she reverts back to an amateur style that's even more sloppier than before. Like, no lie, she sounded drunk on some of these tracks, as her speech is slurred and she speaks with weird accents. The song Boss Chick highlights this, as her pronunciation of certain words had me cracking up. The way she says the word bitch is hysterical.
If that bitch hella basic, then that bitch gotta go.
And I never heard anyone say mosh pit like this.
The pretty girls won't hear this shit and start a mosh pit.
That girl said mouse pit. Like, what the hell is a mouse pit? Another flaw on this project is that the mixing is very poor. Saweetie's vocals are much louder than the production on most of these songs. Mixing loudness with her annoying sporadic vocals made for a very bad listening experience. The only plus on this project for me was her catchy melodic performance on the song P.U.S.S.Y. This song could have been a major highlight, as it has a great concept and the instrumental is very smooth. Saweetie talks about how vagina has the power to rule over a multitude of things. She even took the time out to create an acronym, which is recited during the well-performed chorus. But sadly, this song is ruined by her unamusing vocals, which kills any impact this song could have had. In conclusion, I rated this project a very low F, as it's by far one of the worst albums I've ever heard. It truly amazes me how this girl showed so much potential only to take 100 steps back. Now, to answer the question, is Saweetie a bad rapper? According to my grading scale of her EPs, the answer to this question is yes. She received a score of 55, which is indeed an F. I truly understand why people say that she sucks as a rapper, which has something to do with her being very inconsistent. It feels like she's always chasing a hit song, instead of making a cohesive body of work, which explains all of the EPs. Now that I think about it, these short projects feels like she's fishing for a hit while putting in as little effort as possible. Now, I'm not knocking her hustle, as it definitely works for her. One thing I will admit is that she can make incredible music if she tried, as she showcased many talents on these projects. Her melodic and rap performances are really good on the tracks Too Many and Hot Boy. If she tapped into this side of her artistry, I truly believe that she can win people over that look at her as just being a trash rapper with a cute face. But to go back to how Saweetie approaches finding hit singles, she's done well in that aspect for the most part. In my opinion, some of her best songs are her hits, which could be because she puts more effort into them. Also, when she finds the right featured artist, it can easily catch the attention of the audience. But not only that, these songs are also really good in my opinion. Perfect examples of this are the tracks Best Friend featuring Doja Cat, Closer featuring her, and my favorite out the bunch, Back to the Streets featuring Jhené Aiko. But I can't forget the fact that Saweetie can also make these hit songs on her own. Most of the time it's her remixing a song that's already popular, which always works for her. Honestly, these are some of my least favorite tracks from her, as the only enjoyment factor is a catchy hook. But it seems like Saweetie is still passionate in pursuing her rap career, as she recently released 2 new tracks, and if I'm being honest, they aren't all that bad. I really don't care for her new song Nani, as it's the typical trying to make a viral TikTok dance song. But the song isn't bad, as it's the perfect aesthetic for her. She has another new track called Rich Tivities, and that shit bangs. The instrumental combines crunk and soulful samples, and Saweetie flows over it exceptionally.
I'm doing rich shit. Pretty bitch shit.
In conclusion, I feel like Saweetie can really do phenomenal things if she tried harder. It just feels like she's always chasing that hit song, which is her downfall. Making a well-structured album would be the best option in my opinion. Now that I think about it, she's been in the game for about 6 or 7 years and doesn't have an album. This is crazy to me, and it continues to highlight the fact that she wants to do as little as possible while receiving those great rewards. In totality, she's very inconsistent, especially on her EPs, so who's to say that she won't carry this over to her albums? Only time will tell, but as for now, Saweetie is definitely a bad rapper for a multitude of reasons.